Welcome to Superside. This is the FIM Sidecar World Championship, the 9th round coming from Imola, the penultimate round of the 2003 season. And what a round it's going to be. We have a lot of action. The title chase is still open, but only just. And beautiful sunny weather here in Italy and a full grid of machines. Here it is, the schedule. We can see we had 2 races at Assen just a couple of weeks ago, and Imola this weekend, 3 weeks' time, Mandicourt in France for the first time ever. Full grid down there, just waiting for the formalities to get out the way. A friendly crowd around the Imola circuit. The park here, a great atmosphere, and a lot of them staying around for this Superside action. The weather, sunny, 35 degrees humidity, just coming on a bit more lately. Track temperature is perfect, 32 degrees, and the air temperature, very nice, 22 degrees. So no problems there for any of the machines or tyres. This is what they want, and they've got it for the second to last round of the 2003 championship. On the grid, we've got a pretty spectacular sight. All the umbrellas up, the guys just getting their last instructions. And there is the view back to the start line. So here it is, the lap record 2001, Webster and Woodhead, the 1:57.5, and they've got pretty close to that. In fact, they've beaten it in qualifying. Circuit length is 4.9 kilometres, a bit over 3 miles. And getting down to the grid, Webster and Woodhead pole position yet again. 26 in a row for the Super Pole Masters. They've just obliterated the field again. Steinhausen and Hopkinson, bit of a story about them. We'll get back to them. They missed the final qualifying session, still second on the grid. Van Gils on yesterday's time as well in 3rd position. Abbott's had some problems, and Hanks and Biggs have been rebuilding engines this afternoon after doing 2 head gaskets in qualification. Here is the news though, Dernancourt and his passenger there, number 88, 7th on the grid, their first ever race. It comes straight out of the French Championship, and there they are. Then we get back to some of the regulars, although Rob Cameron's joined us again for the weekend, so getting in amongst his British countrymen, Gatton Randall, and Founds with a new passenger, Rick Long, in there as well. So a very packed field. Rocher and Harney well down for them. They were consistent early, but Galros and Berglund 15th, and Menge going well in 16th. Row 8 down towards the back there. Morrissey and Harper's had a bit of a trouble. Peach has finally sorted some engine problems and qualified in the last session, and he's looking forward to a pretty good race now that he's on 4 cylinders. Norman Burgess, welcome to Country. What have you got to say about all this?
Oh, I'm looking forward to this one, Rob. This is going to be an action-packed race. I mean, it's such a technical circuit that I'm sure now everybody's sorted the machines out, and the handling and the tyres. Tyres are going to be very important in this one.
Well, there we saw Steve Webster. He's got 26 in a row on pole. Amazing. There's Jörg Steinhausen. Let's talk about him. He's just flown back from Germany. He was in Germany this morning qualifying for a German national race. He qualified here yesterday, 2 sessions yesterday, 2nd on the grid, standing there with Brendan and Jason and Malcolm from Yokohama. That's the whole Yokohama service team there.
Yeah, but there's his dad, Rolf. He's more my hero is Rolf, and a great world champion, Rolf. And yeah, Jörg following in the family tradition.
Yeah, so they've chartered a plane. They've been back to Hockenheim, qualified for a German championship, flew back down. They're racing here. Tonight they fly back to Hockenheim. Tomorrow they win the German championship, they hope.
These are living out of a suitcase at the moment, but it's so important to win the German championship, being obviously from that neck of the wood. And yeah, the Grand Prix is also very important. So yeah, jet setters they are.
Yeah, so a bit of a special story for Jörg Steinhausen. Another special story here, Martin and Tony Van Gils, 3rd. Martin said to me yesterday, if we can sign off on 3rd now, I'll take it. He thought that Abbott and Claffey might come through a bit. There's Tony, just with a bit of a wave. They are really, really happy with 3rd and hope they can stay there.
Going very well, and there's the old wily Derbyshire Fox. Abbott now is taking things in. He's having to think about what he's going to do in the race. And as you know, I'm slightly involved with the team, and there's a little bit of strategy going to be involved in this race, and I think we're going to see Abbott. I've got to say this now, Rob. I think we're going to see Abbott in the first 3.
Well, big call as usual from Norman Burgess. There is the Hanks machine. They've just had that totally in pieces. Did another head gasket. That's 2 for the weekend. Tom said it was his mistake last night. What they should have been doing was rebuilding engines. They went to bed early, had a good night's sleep. Today got up, did another head gasket. He's had to choose which engine to rebuild for the race.
Yeah, very much like myself. I had an early night and all, Rob. And yeah, what happened were the cylinder head gasket problems, and the problem with the cylinder head gaskets are that they're actually machining to critical levels, and this is causing, always will cause cylinder head problems. They're also boring the machines out to such big sizes that we're trying to defeat the manufacturer.
I don't know what to say about Christian Parson with that kiss. There was some line about you and him in there, Norm. I just can't find it at the moment. We'll move on to Rocha and Harney there, the black machine. This is at the back of the grid, number 55. And Rocha's had some major trouble this weekend and shouldn't be in 14th. He was in 4th place in the championship earlier this year, qualified in 14th now.
Yeah, but Adolf Harney, he's the hard man of sidecar racing, is Adolf. He's had more bumps and bruises than I care to think about. And yeah, they will be there at the end, I'm sure.
Here is the surprise packet, straight out of the French Championship. First ever World Championship race. They put it onto 7th on the grid.
Yeah, what a good turnout. I mean, they've just rolled up to the Grand Prix and qualified absolutely fantastic.
So there we go, the new team. They want to do the championship next year, and I'd say 7th so far. They'll be right in there.
They'll be very hungry for next year now, I'm sure, because they've come in and they have shown 1 or 2 of the old boys some new tricks.
Jock Skeen and Neil Miller, you remember that spectacular crash at Assen as the cameraman just wakes Jock up there a bit with a bit of a nudge. Spectacular crash. They've rebuilt the back of the fairing, a fair bit of work there, and unfortunately had a spin yesterday. Neil had another bit of a tumble down the track, but he's just been to Dr. Costa. His wrist is freed up again, and he's right there.
The Flying Scotsman, we call them, Rob, and they're putting a lot of effort and a lot of time into it. And yeah, 1 or 2 little knocks, but I don't think it's too much of a problem.
Bill Phillips struggling with horsepower, 155 horsepower, he says, out of his tuned R1 engine. That's about what they get standard. So he's got a problem with horsepower, and you see he's down 15 to 20 kilometres an hour in the top speed. He's making it up through the corners, which he says himself is trying too hard. He said, Abbott went past me yesterday like I was just sitting on pit wall.
Yeah, that is true. I saw him there, and I witnessed the event. And yes, he's been down big time on horsepower. I mean, when we're looking at Steve Webster, Steve Abbott, Claffenbach, and the rest of them running 200 plus, I mean, they'll not admit to what horsepower they're actually running, but 200 plus brake horsepower and 150 brake horsepower, it's very frustrating for Bill.
So he's using the brakes a great deal there and running straight up very, very close to people in corners. He doesn't like racing that way. He wants more horsepower. He tried something this morning, but he said it got him 0.2 of a second. Wasn't really what he was looking for. But I just don't know. So we're standing here waiting for the warm-up lap. Passengers just waiting to get onto the machines.
They don't like being stood on the grid here, I'll tell you now, Rob. The temperature's rising in the machines. Where we said with Hanks, with the cylinder head problems, that is one of the first things that goes wrong with these machines. When there's temperature in the engine, the weakest part is a cylinder head and cylinder head gasket. And these boys want to get on the road straight away.
Yes, and yesterday in qualifying we had a bit of a spectacular incident. Not a good incident for us, but unfortunately Gerhard Hausenberger and Ian Simons are not on the grid. They came down from the Variante Alta heading towards Ravassa and had a brake problem, unfortunately, into the side of the wall. And Ian is recovering. He's okay, apart from a broken ankle. He's had the operation already, and I think we're going to see him good and well very, very soon.
Yeah, these sidecar passengers, tough as you like, Rob, and only an ankle. Yeah, he's not a problem. I'm surprised they're not out here today, but we're looking at there at Jörg Steinhausen, and Jörg is ready now. I'm sure he's suffering from jet lag, but Jörg will be out there now. What they're actually going to do now, Rob, is what we call in the trade a warming up lap. They're going to go out there, they're going to warm the engine right through. They're going to warm the passenger, they're going to warm the driver, and more importantly, they're going to warm the tyres up.
So this is it, the Tamburello into brakes, the chicane here, very, very hard through that right-hander there. You've got to get it right, because this exit here, Webster will show us in a minute how important it is to get good drive through this left-hand exit.
Absolutely. If they don't get the drive, what happens is, Rob, you actually lose momentum, if you will, and you'll see some of these drivers showing really incredible fastest speed through the trap, and what happens is they're actually getting good drive out the corner and producing good fastest times.
Yes, maintaining that corner speed means you don't have to crack the throttle on at the exit, and you can actually help not to spin up your rear tyre as well. I don't think with the temperatures today there will be no issues with people blistering tyres through getting too hot. Everyone's been having good wear over the weekend. Of course, that goes out the window during the race.
Strange you should say that, Rob, because for one of these unusual races, everybody's using a different tyre compound, and I do believe that we are going to, towards the end of the race, we're going to see a tyre problem. You'll probably prove me wrong, but yes, I do think tyres are going to be a critical issue on this one.
Okay, well, we'll see. There are a range of tyres being used. The rear tyres, mainly they'll be running with the B tyre, which is the medium compound. Some of them may have a C on the back, which is a little bit softer. It's called a B minus. Sorry, the medium minus. And that compound will be a bit stickier, but it wears out quicker. So we'll have to look for the rear tyre there.
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is now, Rob. We're going to see the experience again. 26 pole positions, I think, on the trot or something like that. But you'll see now Steve Webster, you'll think that they're going round and they're showing fast times and all that on the warm-up lap. But you'll see now Webber, what he'll actually do is slow them down so that everybody's catching him up and he's not stood on that grid too long.
And the thing is today, Webster could be after his 9th title. He's got a 20-point lead over Klaffenbach. There's 2 races left. If Klaffenbach wins and Webster comes second, that goes down to the last race. Otherwise, if Klaffenbach doesn't win, it's Webster's title.
Looking at this now on the warm-up lap, it's telling me that Jörg Steinhausen has probably got a very hard tyre on, because he's doing a lot of weaving, trying to warm the tyres up, and I think he'll be looking to get them tyres up to a working temperature, whereas you're looking at Steve Webster, I think Steve will be using a softer tyre here, Rob.
Okay, there we saw the wildcards just coming on the number 88 machine, the French team, and they will be having the butterflies going through the stomach about now. Their first World Championship race. I've spoken to him before, and Dernancourt there, he was saying he's got a little bit of fear about the start, but he's only here to test. He's only here to find out about the World Championship, find out what it's like, and win it next year.
I think what we're going to do here, see, Rob, is see a little bit of French temperament here. I think he's going to go for it right from the start. I mean, he's qualified well, and I think he's going to make all the effort, hopefully, in the first 2 or 3 laps. And he's going to show these Grand Prix regulars what it's all about.
Well, I think a few of them have been popping down to his tent to see what he has got in that machine, because he has definitely surprised a few of them, the black number 88 machine.
Yeah, and he's running a 1000cc Suzuki, Rob. Am I right there?
Yes, we'll go with that. The green flag's up at the back of the grid, and the red flag goes across the front. The red light is on. Webster lines up for the start. Woodhead's visor goes down. The light goes out. Steinhausen gets the start. Steinhausen with a big lot of rubber. But Webster seems to have got back on him, blocked him a little bit there on the lead down to the Tamburello. Hanks up the inside. And Webster it is. Webster, Steinhausen, Klaffenbach, Hanks, Van Gils, Skeen, Rob Cameron in there, Reeves as well, and then our wildcards as well, number 88, Dernancourt. So that was it, a hectic but safe first time through the Tamburello.
Oh, that's a difficult corner and all, with all these sidecars heading into. Everybody wants to lead through that corner, but yeah, Steve Webster looks to have it under control at the moment.
Van Gils just got Hanks there on the exit. That was through Villeneuve, and going into the Tesla curve for the first time. Van Gils is on a mission up the back of Klaffenbach. So Webster, Steinhausen, a little bit of a gap to Klaffenbach, then Van Gils as they go over the bumps, and Hanks just being caught up by Van Gils early in the lap.
Yeah, what we're going to see here, Robert, they're all going to be quieting down and taking a lap. I mean, they're going to be the 16 of these, and they're going to be making sure that everything is all right. And but Steve Webster, again, another flyer.
Steinhausen, has he got Webster? Yes, Steinhausen has Steve Webster. Well, the little bit of practice at a different track didn't sort Steinhausen out at all. He's gone straight past Webster and pulled a bit of a gap through the Variante Alta. Oh, Abbott's upside down. Steve Abbott and Jamie Biggs have had a crash. They're both okay, but the machine is upside down at the moment.
Yes, what Abbott will be trying to do there is save the fuel, turn the machine the right way up. Yeah, they've had a bit of an incident there, but they both look okay.
Jamie, they're just holding his elbow. He had an injured shoulder already, and he's holding his elbow as he walked away. So let's hope Jamie Biggs, long-time passenger of Steve Abbott, is okay. Back to the action at the front. The end of lap 1, Steinhausen, Webster, Klaffenbach and Van Gils all together, one group at the start of this race. 2:01 lap time. Then Skeen is back there, so there's been a big problem because Hanks has dropped back. Skeen's in 5th, Cameron's in 6th place, Hanks in 7th, Rocher from 15th on the grid up to 8th, then Gatt, Filk, Reeves and Founds. That makes up the top 12. Well, we'd better find out what's going on with that incident on lap 1. I think it must have involved Hanks and Abbott, just looking at the timesheets. But this leading pack seems to be in for something. I'd say the Dutch team there will be eyeing off Klaffenbach.
Yeah, but look at number 3, Klaus Klaffenbach. He's sat there, he's waiting. As per usual, Klaffenbach is there. And you've got, at the moment, Steinhausen leading with Webster sat in a looking position in 2nd.
Yes, you can see Van Gils all over the back of Klaffenbach. A couple of flames out of the exhaust. That's Martin and Tony Van Gils from Holland. They've just, last weekend, they raced a Dutch championship race. They race almost every weekend throughout the season, and they are on it this weekend. They like the track, they like the technical aspects of the track, and they really want that 3rd place.
You're looking at the flames shooting out the exhaust there. That is perfectly normal for sidecar racing. What they're actually doing is running the ignition so advanced that it's actually burning the fuel in the exhaust system. I mean, I know it looks very dramatic, but that's how it is.
Klaus Klaffenbach had problems in the first session, problems with the ignition, came back in the second session and put in a half respectable time, dropped his lap time by 2 seconds in final qualifying, but maintained 6th place on the grid. So Klaus Klaffenbach has had not the best start to the weekend. Maybe he has been a bit busy with this Supersport deal that he's got. Maybe he hasn't been spending enough time with the sidecar to get the lap times in the right spot. Looks like Webster having a look up the inside of Steinhausen. No moves yet from Webster, but I think he might just be sitting there although a big slide from Webster. Maybe he is having a bit of a try early on in the race.
I'll tell you what it is, Rob, and all, Jörg Steinhausen is looking very, very aggressive this weekend. Looking at the body language, Jörg is there to win this race, and Steve Webster will have to do everything he can possibly to get past him.
Yes, well, here's a replay. Look at Webster in the back, the Castrol machine. How sideways was that? I don't think there would have been a problem. Maybe a bit of dirt or something on the track, but he's just thrown that thing straight into the corner and the rear end let go.
Yeah, what's happening there, Rob? I think he's just running offline a little bit, and he's getting on to where all the waste is from the tyres, and it marbles, as we call them in the trade, and it's caused Steve Webster 1 or 2 problems.
Yes, he'll remember that for next time. Martin and Tony, Steve Webster actually followed Martin and Tony Van Gils in one of the qualifying sessions, and he was full of praise for the Dutch team. He was saying that Martin is driving the best he's ever seen. Very, very smooth. Only made a couple of very small mistakes where he didn't brake late enough into a couple of turns. But praise from Steve Webster onto the Dutch duo in 4th place.
Yeah, they've come on leaps and bounds, Rob. The Van Gils from being literally midfield to World Championship contenders.